Hey, what's happening, everyone out there? I'm back. Jalal Leach, episode number 3, One Hit Wonder Podcast. Here we go. What is Leachy going to talk about today? Well, I'm working on things, always thinking about things, but today I want to talk about the climb to the show. A long climb to the show, to the big leagues, to the dance. Well, today I started out this morning. I looked up because I was curious who spent the longest time in the minor leagues before getting called to the big leagues. And what I found was a gentleman, and I remember him, John Lindsay. He spent a total of 18 years in the minor leagues. He played, he had 6,500 plate appearances and had nearly 1,600 hits before making his major league debut. Now, in regards to myself, I spent a total of 15 years in the minor leagues, well, including, fact check me, including independent ball, playing in the Mexico winter and summer leagues and all that. I played a total of 1,500 games, got over 1,500 hits, and it's amazing. Just looking to see, how guys like myself, John Lindsay, how we persevered all those years, all those places in the minor leagues to get that call to the big leagues. In today's game, we don't exist. Teams are running through players a lot faster, and the journeyman, it would be amazing if someone lasted this long or that long in the minor leagues before getting a call. So today I wanted to just go through and talk about some of the places I played, some of the things I saw on my journey and climb to the show. First thing I want to talk about are all my stops that I played from being drafted by the Yankees in 1990. I'm going to do this all off the top of my head. No cheating, no AI, no Google. 1990, Oneonta Yankees, and we won the championship. Thank you, Trey Hillman, and all the other great players, KJ, my boy, on the team, so on and so forth. 1991, Fort Lauderdale Yankees. 1992, Prince William Cannons, high A for the New York Yankees. 1993, Albany Colony Yankees, double A for the Yankees. 1994 and 1995, triple A, Columbus Clippers, Columbus, Ohio, with the New York Yankees. 1996, I was minor league Rule 5 to the Montreal Expos, in which I spent time in Double A, which was Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. That's where I came across Vladimir Guerrero Sr. for the first time. And Triple A, Ottawa, as in Canada, Lynx. 1997, signed as a minor league free agent with the Tacoma Rainiers, who were an affiliate of the Seattle Mariners. 1998, right before spring training, probably around this time, re-signed with the Seattle Mariners and traded to the San Francisco Giants right before spring training for Dave McCarty. Rest in peace, Big Dave, Stanford product. 1999, re-signed with the San Francisco Giants, spent time let me back up. 1998, I'm sorry. Once I was traded in 98, I spent time after coaching, believe it or not, I coached for a month and a half for the San Jose Giants. I went back to playing and played for the Shreveport Captains in Double A, and then finished the season in 98 with the Fresno Grizzlies. 1999, re-signed with the San Francisco Giants, spent the entire season with the Fresno Grizzlies. 2000, signed as a minor league free agent with the Philadelphia Phillies, spent almost half of a season playing in Scranton, Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, AAA. after being released, went back and re-signed with the San Francisco Giants AAA, spent the remainder of 2000 with the Fresno Grizzlies. 2001, re-signed with the Fresno Grizzlies of the San Francisco Giants and made my one and only major league debut with the San Francisco Giants. 2002, signed a minor league contract with the New York Yankees and spent the entire season with the Columbus Clippers at the AAA level. 2003, had to go to Mexico to start the season. So I signed with the Saltillo Saperos, spending a few weeks there, and then signing out of there with the Seattle Mariners AAA club, the Tacoma Rainiers. 2004, I spent, 2003, I was released halfway or about the halfway point and had to go play independent ball, and I spent time in Winnipeg and also Fargo Moorhead Redhawks league champions with my guy Juan Mello. 2004, my last and final year, went to spring training with the Chicago Cubs, released at the end of spring training, and played on two teams to finish out my playing career, the Monclova Aceros in the Mexican Summer League and the Yucatan Leones, also in the Mexican Summer League. And that is off the top of my head, my 15 years of playing professional baseball. Wow, what a journey. And I didn't even mention the winter leagues. I spent time playing winter baseball in 1992 in Brisbane, Australia. Spent the whole winter there playing. We had a lot of fun. 1993, spent my first year playing winter ball in Venezuela, in the Venezuela Winter League. 1994, I played in the Hawaii Winter League. Yeah, I was slumming. It rained every day. Bubba Carpenter, shout out Bubba, was my roommate. And we could see the rain coming in off the water. So we knew if we were going to play, I think we had something like 26 rainouts because we were on the big island of Hilo and it rained out of control there. But we had fun. That was 94, 95. I don't think I played. 96, 97. I spent time in Venezuela playing in Maracaibo for the Águilas del Zulia. Somewhere in there, Mexico had to pop in there. 98, 99, I believe I was playing for the Algodoneros of Guasave. Shout out, rest in peace, Aurelio Rodriguez. I spent parts of 5 seasons playing down there for those guys. And where else? Have I missed anyone else? I also played in, I believe it was 2000, 2001. I spent a winter in with the Cardenales de Lara in the Venezuela Winter League. We had a coup breakout. They shut my last year there, shut the league down. I went from there to play for Escogido in the Dominican Republic. Big Papi was on my team. Shout out right before he went to the Boston Red Sox, and he became Big Papi, as we know today, the Hall of Famer. And those were all my winter league stints. So as you can see, I played a lot of places. I've had a lot of teammates, a lot of coaches. I've met a lot of people on my journey to really just getting that call to the big leagues. So now I just want to talk about my call up. And, you know, for me being that journeyman, never knowing if you'll ever get the call and trying to produce, you know, it's like I always said, my resume, my business card was the back of my baseball card. Especially once I became that minor league journeyman, I knew I was under pressure. I mean, I liked the pressure. It was fun pressure. But there were no guarantees really in the minor leagues back then. You could be here today, gone tomorrow. I wasn't a prospect. I was a suspect. I was just there to protect, you know, prospects along the way. Vladimir Guerrero, who else? Jose Vidro. I'm trying to think of some of the guys off the top of my head. Jimmy Rollins, Pat Burrell, these guys who were up and coming phenom, Jeter back in the day, that I was just, the experienced guy. Marcus Tim, shout out, Mark. Guys just, would come to me because I had been around the longest. So but I also had the dream of playing in the big league. So I always wanted to perform at my best. Every game was played like my last. One thing my dad taught me at a very, very young age, because tomorrow isn't promised. So when I took that field, I really took it like this could be it. So leave it all on the field. And like I said, I thought there were times that I hit enough to get a call and I was overlooked. It was frustrating. But I always asked myself when the season was over, is this it? Or do you still have the fire? And as long as I had the fire, the drive, the fun, the passion, I would keep going. So for me, years that I thought I produced or performed enough wasn't enough. But when it came to that 2001 season, when I finally broke through, I didn't think I hit that well. And I remember the last game before I got the call where we were playing, I believe it was the AAA team of the Astros, both teams eliminated. And I was just, we just had to finish the schedule. And the crazy thing about it at the time, I lived here in Sacramento, we had a game on Saturday. Some reason we didn't play on Sunday, and then our last game was on, no. We had a game on Friday, then we didn't have a game on Saturday. We shared the stadium with Fresno State. So we played at Pete Biden Field. And I believe what happened was we had a baseball game Friday, Saturday was football, and they needed the field facility. So we had an off day, and then our final game was Sunday. So on that Friday, I took all my stuff home because the season was over. We weren't making the playoffs, so I drove the 3 hours. And then for the last game on Sunday, my dad said he would just ride down with me. We basically just drove from Sac, got in, we were eliminated. So my manager, shout out Shane Turner, Shane just baked show and go. So, 6 o'clock game. We just showed up with enough time to get our uniform on, get your stretch, get your whatever, sweat going. My dad rode down with me. I went in, put my uniform on, got loose. The game started. It was it. Everyone knew the first call-ups had already been made. So it was just really just like a glorified practice game. I actually hit a homer that day. And I remember sitting on the bench with our trainer, Rick Limbo, and just kind of venting to him, this is year whatever for me, and I didn't hit it good enough to get considered. And, I'm just venting during the game because, it's a meaningless game, but you still want to play and perform. And, Rick's sitting there and he just gets up and walks away. And I'm like, man, the trainer won't even listen to me vent, So I said, all right, whatever. Okay, Limbo, I see how you are. Okay, so then, we get through the game. I can't tell you who won, who lost. Typically I'm slow to undress after the game. But that day, since my dad and I had already drove down and we were going to turn around, drive the 3 hours right back, Speedy Gonzalez, in the locker room, shower, did all the pleasantries, the goodbyes with my teammates. And, because we were going to get on the road and get back home. And so I'm in there undressing real fast. My manager, co-worker, longtime compadre, Shane Turner comes in the locker room yelling at me, Leachy, get in my office right now. And I was like, what? I'm like, he's yelling at me, top of his lungs. And I'm like, Shane, it's the last game. I didn't miss a sign. You don't find me? Come on, man. We done. He's just get in there. Blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to use the language Shane used. So I'm like, oh, my God. I'm like, all right. Well, I go in there, close the door. So he'll close the door, sit down. And he's yelling at me. He's yelling at me about all these things. And I'm like, just sitting there, just taking it, going, can't believe he's saying all this. And then amongst all of that, he goes, and by the way, if you want to play for the Giants tomorrow, you're going to San Francisco. So figure out a way to be there in San Francisco tomorrow. And I was like, what? And he goes, you heard me. And he's yelling. So he's animated. And at the time, also, Mike Hart, longtime Yankee coach that I had for years, he was our hitting coach there in Fresno. And he's in the room, too. And then I look at Hardy and I said, Hardy, is he saying what I think he's saying? And he goes, yeah, Jay Bird, you going to big leagues. And then I was like, oh, Shane, you got me. So I embrace him, Hardy, thank him. And, and then the guys in the locker room, because I was a journeyman. They heard the news that I was getting called up. Next thing you know, my old boss, longtime associate, Bobby Evans, calls me from San Francisco saying, Leachy, you're coming up here with the big boys. So we'll see you here in San Francisco. Everyone is in the background listening. The whole team broke. It was a real powerful moment. All the guys are cheering. I come out. I'm crying. I'm excited. And so I tell our clubhouse guy to, go get my dad. He was in the stands waiting for me so we can get out of there, get on the road. So my dad comes running out. He thinks something's wrong with me physically, but I just wanted to share that. So he comes in the locker room, and I tell him, I said, Dad. And he's all, are you all right? You all right? He thought I was like having a heart attack or something. I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm really good. I said, Dad, I'm going to the big leagues. He goes, what? He goes, yeah. I said, finally getting the call. So we have a moment and we embrace tears. Naturally, I want to call my mom, my wife, and anyone and everyone. And so I'm jazzed. My dad's like, I'm going to drive home because you are going to be an emotional wreck. And so I start calling all my friends and call my brother and everyone and just let them know I'm headed to the show. And I call my buddy Kevin Jordan, shout out KJ. And, KJ's because he was already in the big leagues and we've been together we still together 30 something years. And so KJ's giving me the lowdown on how I need to play, act, carry myself in the big leagues. And I'm like, thank you, Rumi. All right. So I call him and I call everyone else. We get home to SAC. And, and from SAC the next morning, we have to travel down to San Francisco. So my dad, who was a longtime police officer for SFPD, he was still commuting. They lived in Sacramento. And so he left early and he calls me. He goes, you guys might want to leave early because the traffic's really bad on 80 coming into this city. So we get up. We leave really early. No traffic, of course, by the time we're going. We get to the San Francisco. And when you go to the big leagues, they put you up in a hotel for a week. So we go to the team hotel. We check in. I had my daughter, who was a little bit over 1, and my son was due any day. So, one little one and one on the way. And I was just sitting there on the bed, just chomping at the bit to go to the game. And so my Dana, my wife, she sees me just sitting there and she goes, just go. You've been waiting your whole life career for this shot to the big leagues. So she with her blessings, because I know she was uncomfortable. We had the little one on the way, and I'm like, are you sure? And she's like, go. And I was like, okay, thank you. So I go downstairs, I got my equipment, and I hail a cab. This is pre-Uber. I hail a cab, get in the cab driver, where you going, sir? I'm going to, what was it called? Pac Bell Park. I'm going to Pac Bell Park. He goes, Pac Bell Park? Okay. So on the drive over, he goes, are you a player or something? I said, yeah, I just got called up. And he goes, right on, what's your name? So I tell him my name. We go in through the players' parking lot out there in left field. And there's a security person there, and they have everyone's name on the list, and they're like, who are you? And I tell them my name, and they're like, yep, come on in. So cabbie drives me in. Out comes the clubhouse guys. They got the cart. In the big leagues, you don't carry your stuff. So they throw all my equipment on the cart, and then I go in underneath the stadium, down the left field line, down the third base line, and then there's the entrance into the locker room. Now, it's noon. The game is at 7. So I am like the first one. I'm there before the coaches. So I go in. Mike Murphy, our longtime clubhouse guy, he greets me and he said, hey, man, congrats on getting the call. Your locker is down to the right. And he said, hey, I gave you usually rookies got big numbers. But he said, since you grinded so long in the minors, he said, I felt you deserve a normal number. So he gave me the number 18, which Matt Cain made famous. Shout out, Matt. And so I went down to my locker and I start, just like when I was in Little League. I mean, no one's there. No one is there. So I put my whole uniform on, just like in Little League. I go in the bathroom and I'm looking in the mirror going, it's a really crazy moment. And I'm just excited. So, I put on my uniform, then quickly take it off. And then here comes our manager. And, I don't even know if the lights were on in the locker room. I was there so early. And so our manager, Dusty Baker, comes in. He pops his head in. He looks left. He looks right. And he sees me sitting down there in my locker. I'm in my practice gear, like sitting there pounding my mitt, like ready to go. And he just starts laughing. And he goes, Leachy, congrats. Get in my office. So I go into Bake's office. And, he congratulates me on, earning the call. But at the time, the team was still in contention. So I had to, understand my role. And he basically said, hey, we are in this thing. We're trying to go to playoffs. We want to get to the World Series, blah, 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 blah. So the only time you're going to play is really mop-up time. And I was like, okay, if that's the role, that's the role. So basically, I only got to pinch hit and got in when somebody was getting beat by a lot. And that was it. And then eventually the players start filtering in. And, I'd been to camp with the Giants for a few years, so I knew majority of the guys. JT Snow, who I knew from our Yankee days, and Barry, obviously, spent a lot of time with him and his dad. And so a lot of the guys came over, congratulated me on getting the call. And then the other guys that have been called up, Cody Ransom, Damon Minor, I'm off the top of my head, Dante Powell, Fultzy, on and on and on. And so, we went out and we did our usual, the BP, and, I had my real Giants uniform on. And so it was really, really exciting. And, I was just so happy, and all my family and a lot of friends and people that I went to school with were there. And then the game started. That first game in the big leagues, it went by so fast, so fast. So I went through so many emotions, and naturally I wasn't starting because the team was in contention, but I was hoping to maybe get an AB or something. So an opportunity did come up, and Dusty told me I was going to pinch hit at a point in the game. But hey, in the big leagues, they're trying to win every single game. They are not there to lose. So he told me to go up and hit. And as soon as I came out to hit, I think Bob Brenly was managing we were playing the Diamondbacks at the time. As soon as I came out to hit, then Bob went to the bullpen and he brought the left-hander in. And I'm a left-hand hitter. So as soon as they announced me, Bob Brenly countered and went to the left-hand pitcher. So Dusty countered and said, Leachy, come on back. You're not hitting today, son. So there was a saying we use. I'm not going to say it because kids might be watching this, but there's a saying that we use. So my first at bat in the big leagues, that happened to me. So I got all worked up, ready to hit, ready to go, and they pulled me back. So no play the first day. So that was a high rise of emotions and then a quick, oh, man. But then the next day, that's the beauty of our game. You get to play a lot of games. We're playing the Diamondbacks again. Kurt Schilling was on the mound. And I believe Livan Hernandez was having a tough go for us. He was getting hit around. So Dusty told me it was probably I'm guessing about the fourth inning. He said, hey, Leachy, you're going to lead off for Levo next inning. So be ready to go. So I had to spend that half of an inning just waiting for those 3 outs before I could hit. And I had some great veterans on my team back then. Sean Dunston, Eric Davis, Mark Gardner, Big Cat, Andres Galarraga, some really good dudes. So Sean and Eric, who were the comedians of the team, they were over there taking bets. Is Leachy going to get sick? First at bat in the big leagues, is he going to throw up? And I said, I don't throw up. I said, I may have to go to the bathroom, but I won't throw up. So I don't know how many times I ran to the bathroom and those 3 outs felt like it took an hour. And we had a cage, or the cage is still there underneath the dugout, so you can go in there, swing off the tee. If you can get someone to toss you some, you could do all that. So I did every exercise known to man. I probably had a full lather like I was playing. Now, Schilling is on the mound, and Schill was blowing. He was striking dudes out left and right. Fastball probably up to 97 with a wicked split finger. So all I'm thinking as I'm watching the game, if she'll try to get ahead of me quick with that heater, I am not taking it. I'm trying to jump because he is not going to punch me out chasing that nasty split finger. So the whole time, being a bench player versus starting, you're not really up to speed of the flow of the game. The bat I typically use was pretty heavy, my normal game bat. But since I was pinch hitting, I felt like, maybe I need to go to a lighter bat. So great teammate of mine, Ramon Martinez, he used the exact same model, just a little bit lighter than my bat. So Moni said, hey, Leachy, if you want, you can use my bat. And I was like, cool, because Schill was, I think he was up to 97. I mean, I was like, I ain't going to be late. So I use Moni's bat, and I come out, I put the donut on, I swing, I'm like looking in the crowd, I see my folks, my family, the whole shebang. And it was just, everything was like a movie. And so I go up there with Ramon's bat. Now, remember, adrenaline is through the roof. And later, Moni told me, he said, man, Leachy, I wanted to tell you to use your bat because your adrenaline was going to be so high. Your bat was going to feel like a feather. And I was like, man, I wish he would have told me that before because it did feel like a feather. And now I got a lighter bat. So I go up there, San Francisco, get a standing O. I mean, it's 40,000 plus because the Giants were rolling. The ballpark is new. They're playing the Diamondbacks, the eventual World Series champion. So a lot was at stake. And so as I come up to bat, the crowd stands and cheers. Everyone knew my story. This guy spent all these years in the bushes. He's born and raised in San Francisco. So this is like my hometown, literally my hometown team. So as I get in the box, all the fanfare and all that stuff kind of went away. I was like, man, I've been getting in the box since Novato Little League. So I went back through every at bat I ever had, from Novato to Samarin to Pepperdine to the minor leagues. It was me versus Schilling, So I get in and, I'm like sitting dead red fastball. I was a fastball hitter. To play in the big leagues, you got to hit the fastball. That's all I tell the kids. Don't worry about breaking balls because the breaking ball you're going to hit is going to be the mistake. Hit the fastball. If you want to play in the big leagues, you better hit the fastball. Don't miss it. Okay, so Schill gets up on that bump, and he lays it right in there. Now, I know if you've hit before, when you get your pitch, your eyes should be like open and like the partner of the Red Seas. As soon as Schill let it go, and I saw it was a center cut heater, I was like, oh my God, that is my pitch. He put it right there. So I start my swing. This is, to this day, still bothers me. And as I bring the bat through the zone, remember, I went to a lighter bat. I started to get the bat head out just a wee bit too early. So as I go to meet the ball, I feel the ball hit the end of the bat. Crack. And now the ball goes straight up. And then all I started thinking was bloop. Bleed, drop. Well, none of that happened. I popped up. Reggie Sanders caught it. That was my first AB. I ran behind the mound. Schill said something to me, congratulating me. And backstory about Schilling is the year before I was in AAA with the Phillies, and he had to come down and do a rehab game with the AAA team, and he knew that Kevin Jordan and I were very, very good friends, and him and KJ played together for a minute on the Phillies. So he knew who I was getting that first at bat against him. So I popped out, got that out of the way. Just like any competitor, wish I would have got it on the barrel. Had I used my bat, She'll might watch this, but I feel like had I used my bat, and I got the ball a little bit down on the sweet spot, that ball might have went in the bay. It might have been a splash hit because I had the angle right. I had the trajectory right, or launch angle, whatever you want to call it. But it was on the wrong part of the bat, and it was an out. Shield got me. 0-for-1 Leachy. And that was my first at-bat in the big leagues, and I'll never, ever forget it. I could still see the pitch when I closed my eyes of Shield throwing that ball to me. And it made all those years from really little league through all those years in the bushes worth it. I mean, I wish I'd had more opportunities, but really, if you look back on it and see all the steps that you have to go through to get to that moment, it wasn't really so much about the result. It was really about accomplishing the goal of playing in the big leagues. So like I say, going forward, whatever it is you want to do in life, play in the big leagues, NBA, NFL, doctor, lawyer, teacher, musician, I always tell people, hey, follow your dreams. Don't let the naysayers talk you out of something because they may give you the odds or the percent. Because every day someone is fulfilling their dream in life. So I am a firm believer of if you believe in something, manifest it, talk it into existence, and enjoy the process. Because you don't want to be that what if person. That person, oh, I could have did this if I did that. I could have did this if I would have studied harder in school. I could have, been a better whatever ball player had I taken practice serious or lifting weights. So don't be, for all you young ball players out there, don't be what if. Give it your all when you're on that field. Always try to get better 1% at a time every day and have fun with it because it's not life or death. Sport for me is not life or death. It's fun. It teaches you a lot. Can take you a lot of places. It took me more places than I could ever imagine. And so I am a firm believer in following your dreams. This is Leachy out on the call up. I don't know what I'm going to talk about next, but thanks for chiming in. Have a blessed day. And until next time, Leachy says, peace out. Get the head out, hitters.